You just couldn't stay away, Johnny.
I know, I love it.
Back
Never
in
leaving.
action.
It's because of our fun music.
I love this swag music.
Hey, thank you all so much for joining us as well for KARE 11 News at noon. Today is still all about damage assessment after strong storms brought damaging wind and hail to areas in northern and central Minnesota. We'll have more on the conditions there. And Cece, it was a pretty violent night in Minneapolis.
It really was. We're following a deadly use of force incident involving the MPD. I was on scene overnight, and I'll be sharing what the chief said.
But first, John, let's go ahead and get a first look at our weather, especially what's happening outside right now.
Yeah, I mean, yesterday was obviously probably one of our stronger storms, especially when you're talking about the North Country. It's just good to see some lower moisture coming in here. So the dew point has already dropped 10 degrees, which is huge from this morning. So you're going to start feeling nicer out there. 74 degrees out there right now. Now you're going to notice there's an area that's rain cooled from Mankato to Jackson. Wilmer at 77, so that's kind of the cutoff. So St. Cloud, it's already almost 80 degrees. We are just about to clear those clouds here in the Twin Cities area. You can see we are just starting to see that cloud deck exit. Southeast region of the Twin Cities, Hastings, you guys are still cloudy, but if you're watching right now in Buffalo or St. Cloud, that sun is out. With that being said, Mankato and Rochester still dealing with a little rain. Twin Cities just about to break into the sunshine, and we should pop quickly. We'll probably see a 7-degree warm up in the next hour, and then we will really see those temperatures hover in the low 80s. But like I said, the night was obviously very significant, talking about the Brainerd Lakes area. And today we're hearing from some of the people who woke up to the damage from last night's storms up north.
This is the neighbor's pontoon boat completely flipped upside down, attached to the lift. Ray's lift is totally gone, the top. All 4 or 3 of these sections of dock, gone. They're nowhere to be seen. This boat was right there.
Well, that happened in Crosby on Rabbit Lake, and that's just one of the areas of cabin country that's in rough shape at this hour. Audrey Russo brings us a look.
Yeah, well, the story up here on Rabbit Lake is essentially that if it wasn't bolted down, it was blown around in the winds like this bench, down for the count here in the waters of the lake. And I also want to show you over here to my right, trees down, pontoon boats flipped over, a massive cleanup, a massive undertaking over the next 24 hours. The Crow Wing County manager tells me he's been in contact with the different townships across this lake, Crosby, Cuyuna. All of those representatives from those townships told him they can pretty much manage their cleanup on their own and that they won't need any additional help. So that is some good news out here. Homeowners, though, are still up to their knees, literally in damage. A homeowner off of Highway 6 shared this video they took from their security camera. They weren't up here at the cabin last night, but they were able to watch as a massive oak tree was taken down by strong winds.
Started seeing trees go down everywhere, front yard, backyard, on the house, on the garage, shed destroyed, lake front kind of destroyed, so not good.
So what's next? Well, all of these homeowners are going to have to take pictures of this damage and document it for insurance, and then they're going to have to get tree companies on the phone. We actually spoke with a tree company who is out here surveying the damage. We'll have more on that coming up in the next half hour. Back to you.
Audrey, thank you. And this is video sent in by a viewer that shows some of the damage left behind in St. Stephen. People are reporting fallen trees on homes and parts of a steel shed scattered in farm fields. Well, these viewer photos show us the scope of the severe weather. They show things like golf ball size hail, lightning, and strong winds. We have another team heading up north right now to bring you more on the recovery. We'll be sure to get the latest on air and throughout the night online at KARE11.com. Breaking news from the Supreme Court, the justices preserved access to a widely used abortion medication. It's the court's first abortion decision since overturning Roe v. Wade 2 years ago. The justices ruled that abortion opponents lacked the legal right to sue over the FDA's approval of mifepristone and the FDA's subsequent actions to ease access to it. Well, there are new details to share about a late-night deadly shooting involving Minneapolis police. The chief calls it a use of force incident, and it all started with a 911 call around 9 last night about a man with a gun on 29th Avenue in the Longfellow neighborhood. Minutes later, a similar report just a few blocks over, near 34th and Hiawatha. So, Cece, you actually went to the scene. What were you able to tell us?
Yeah, Alexis, we had crews in and out of the area all night long, and I was able to get down there around 4:30 this morning. At that point, the BCA was well into their investigation. We've learned that they've taken over the situation. And now to more on what happened. So this all started around 9 last night. In both of those 911 calls to police, residents reported seeing a man with a gun acting strange. One of the callers said he was talking to himself. When officers got to Hiawatha Avenue, the man took off and they chased him. Chief O'Hara says officers told the man they were police and he was under arrest. We're told there was a confrontation at the end of that chase, and the man was allegedly armed with a handgun, and officers told him to drop the gun multiple times, but he didn't, and that's when deadly force was used. The suspect was taken to the hospital where he later died.
All the information that I have available to me, I have no reason to think that this is anything other than a justifiable and lawful use of force by police officers.
So O'Hara went on to say that he's thankful no one else was harmed by this situation. As far as the investigation, the BCA says more info will come out after they wrap up their initial investigation, but a lot still to unpack about the situation. I'll have much more in 30 minutes.
Cece, thank you. Well, 3 hours ago, the Minnesota Office of the Legislative Auditor released a review of the State Department of Education's actions during the Feeding Our Future fraud scheme. The office says the department's oversight of Feeding Our Future created opportunities for fraud. It says they failed to act on warning signs before the COVID-19 pandemic and did not hold the organization accountable to meal program requirements. 70 people were charged in the $250 million scheme that inflated the number of meals the nonprofit claimed was serving children during this pandemic. The MDE commissioner responded to the audit with a list of solutions that are aimed at preventing future fraud situations. School board members for the St. Paul School District will vote next week on the district's proposed budget totaling over $1 billion. Right now, the district is grappling with a shortfall of over $100 million. Cuts are already wrapped into this budget proposal, including millions from the district's food service and community service fund. While it doesn't solve every problem, district leaders say it's a step in the right direction and it sets them up for success.
We feel very optimistic about our future because we've already seen this past the 2 years of our enrollment stabilizing. That's number one. Number two, we were able to maintain some of the unique programs that we have here in St. Paul that we won't find necessarily everywhere. So we feel very confident.
The school board will discuss this at their next meeting on the 18th. Well, right now, President Biden is in Italy for the 50th G7 summit. He's expected to talk with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky on an agreement promising long-term defense and security cooperation. The agreement does not commit to the use of U.S. forces to defend Ukraine. It does, however, outline how the U.S. and allies plan to move forward during the war. First Lady Jill Biden is making a stop in Duluth in just a few hours. It's part of the Biden campaign's attempt to reach older voters. Throughout her stops, she's expected to hold both traditional rallies, but also stop into places like bingo halls and pickleball games.
Well, we've got some other stories to talk about in the metro area, starting with the completion of the playground honoring Eli Hart in Mound. Family members are putting the final touches on the set today. You may remember the 6-year-old boy was killed by his mother back in May 2022. Last year, the city approved plans to renovate an already existing playground at Surfside Beach in Eli's honor. A ribbon cutting ceremony will happen during the Spirit of the Lakes Festival on Saturday, July 20th. We're just over a month from the 2024 Summer Olympics in Paris, airing right here on KARE 11. And when the gymnastics trials come to Minnesota later this month, they'll bring with them a little taste of Paris. Organizers are calling it Promenade du Nord, a Parisian street festival all along Nicollet Mall. The event will be held in collaboration with the Olympic team trials for gymnastics, which will be at Target Center. The festival will include gymnastics performances, live music, and shopping with local vendors. It all kicks off with a performance from 1,000 gymnasts to a mashup of Minneapolis music. It runs from June 27th through the 30th.